Ladies and gentlemen, Grow As You Go community, welcome to day one of Neuroplasticity. This is a series of lessons built and designed from the book Neuro Habits by Peter Hollins. And this video is me going through the first lesson of 7 designed from that book. So enjoy and let's get into it. All right. So, Neuro Habits Day 1. Rewiring your habits, neuroplasticity, and the habit loop. Learning objectives, what you'll learn today. Neuroplasticity equals changeable brain. Your brain can rewire itself at any age through experience and repetition. Habit loop, trigger, routine, reward. Every habit follows this 3-step cycle that you can now diagnose and adjust. Habits leads to autopilot in the basal ganglia. Repeated behaviors shift from conscious control to automatic brain circuits. So, what habit do you want to change? Think of one habit you deeply want to change or a positive habit you want to build. It could be stopping late night snacking or starting to read every day. Whatever feels meaningful to you. Write that down because we'll refer back to this throughout the session as you apply today's concepts directly to your own life. So, neuroplasticity. Your brain can change itself. Neuroplasticity refers to the brain's ability to change its structure and function in response to experience. Every time you learn a new skill or habit, your brain's neurons form new connections or strengthen existing ones. The brain rewires itself through experience. New routines create new neural pathways. Change can happen at any age, and the same brain that learned bad habits can learn new ones. You weren't born hardwired with all your habits. Your brain learned them, and it can learn new ones. Neuroplasticity in everyday life. So in week 1, I had to force myself up for a morning walk. This is just an example, which required constant reminders and mental effort. In weeks 2 to 3, it's still challenging, but it's getting easier. The brain is starting to form new pathways. Week 4 and beyond, I wake up and walk automatically. The brain is rewiring. It's not fully rewired yet, but it's rewiring. No more mental debate. Through repetition, your brain formed a new pathway that made this behavior more efficient and automatic. A once foreign action became as second nature as brushing your teeth. So, exercise 1. Neuroplasticity in action. Recall a habit you successfully changed in the past, or a skill you learned with practice. Reflect what was challenging at first, what helped it eventually click and stick over time. Think. 2 minutes to recall your experience. Write. Jot down what made it easy over time. And share. Volunteers share examples with the group. This lesson was designed for public speaking. So if you're watching this video right now, share with a friend or just silently contemplate it with yourself. At first, it took conscious effort, but over time it became automatic. That's neuroplasticity in action. The brain physically rewires with repetition, so what once took willpower becomes effortless. The habit loop, the 3-step habit loop. So 1, you have a trigger. Trigger is a cue that starts the habit, and it can be a time, a place, or an emotion. Then you have the routine, the behavior you do, or the habit itself. And then you have the reward, the payoff that reinforces the pleasure or the relief. Every habit, big or small, follows this loop. Understanding it is powerful for change because you can adjust cues and rewards instead of fighting the habit itself head on. So the habit loop in action. 1, you have the trigger. So let's say you're feeling stressed after work. Next, you have the routine, which is mindlessly scroll on the phone for 30 minutes. And then you have the reward, which is that numb relief from stress or escape. Notice the trigger wasn't external. It was an emotional state. Triggers can be emotions, times, places, or even situations. The reward or relief might not be obvious fun, but to your brain, the absence of something negative still counts as a reward. This loop explains how behaviors carry on even when we rationally know they're bad for us. All right, exercise number 2, map your habit loop. Apply the habit loop framework to the habit you identified earlier. Think back to the last time you did that habit. What was the trigger? When, where, or what feeling sparked it? What was the routine? What did you typically do in response to that? And what was the reward? What did you get from it? How did it make you feel? Formula. When trigger, I routine because I get reward. Take 4 minutes to write your habit loop down and then share with a partner or discuss with yourself. Pause the video now and do this, and then come back when you're done. Autopilot. Habits and the brain's autopilot. When a habit is new, you use your prefrontal cortex for conscious thinking to perform it, but with repetition, control transfers to the basal ganglia, your brain's habit center. Repetition leads to the basal ganglia so that it can take over. Habit center stores routines automatically. The prefrontal cortex steps back. Decision maker can focus elsewhere. Environment cues equals instant autopilot. Context triggers habit before you think. This is why you might do unwanted habits without thinking. The habit has been delegated to autopilot, bypassing your conscious decision making. So a lot of times we might think, why can't I quit? A common scenario is I decide every morning not to check my social media first thing, but by 7:05, I'm already scrolling on Instagram. So what's happening in my brain? Well, the autopilot explains it all. Your waking up is a very strong trigger, and the basal ganglia runs the routine automatically. Wake up is a trigger, basal ganglia runs the routine automatically, and the sleepy prefrontal cortex doesn't stand a chance in fighting that routine. So habit circuitry activates before conscious decisions can even be made. It's not about being weak, it's about the strength of that cue routine association. Your brain finds it efficient to start the day the same way it always does. All right, exercise 3, disrupting the autopilot. Design a strategy to interrupt your habit autopilot by changing your environment or adding a conscious pause. So 1, identify your biggest autopilot moment. When does your habit run on its own? Plan one change to interrupt the pattern. Remove a cue or add a new response. And write it down. Write down if-then format. If trigger, then I will new action. Examples. If I get into bed, then I will set a 5-minute meditation timer instead of looking at my phone. Or if I sit on the couch after dinner, then I will immediately open up a book instead of turning on the TV. Take 4 minutes to write out your disruption plan. Keep it simple, one realistic change at a time. All right, here's your worksheet, my habit change plan. So my target habit loop, if trigger, I routine because I get reward. New routine idea, instead of blank, I will blank. Environment tweak, one change to my context. What am I going to change in my environment to make it easier or add some friction for the bad habit? My why, value or trait. I'm changing this habit to build what? Use this worksheet to apply day one's lessons to your own habit. Complete it tonight and keep it somewhere visible. Update as you learn what works. All right, a quick reference. Day 1 in 5 minutes. The brain can change at any age. Neuroplasticity. Every habit equals trigger, routine, reward loop. Repetition equals less thinking, switching over to autopilot brain. Change cues and rewards to change habits. Take a picture of this slide for quick reference and a cheat sheet. All right, some key strategies for success. Disrupt the autopilot, break the pattern. Change your environment to remove triggers or add friction to bad habits. Make cues for good habits very obvious. Insert pauses. Count to 10. Take some deep breaths when you feel an impulse. This gives your conscious brain time to regain control. Replace, don't remove. Keep the same trigger and reward, but swap it in a healthier routine. Fill the void so old habits can't creep back. Understand your rewards. We repeat behaviors that meet emotional needs or give pleasure, even if we logically know they're not good long term. To change a habit, ensure your new habit has a satisfying reward. 68% are driven by emotional drivers, habits driven by feelings, not logic. 42% immediate rewards. Brain prioritizes instant gratification. 85% success rate. When a new habit feels rewarding, it's going to be very successful. Emotion beats logic. This is huge. Design your new habits to feel good. Celebrate successes and give yourself healthy rewards. Focus on the process, not guilt. The power of small changes. Start tiny. Small daily actions compound into major transformations. Don't overwhelm yourself with massive changes. Track progress. Collect evidence of your changes. Tracking keeps you honest and motivated through the journey. Build support. Share your plan with someone for accountability. Community makes the process easier and more sustainable. All right, so here's your action plan. Tonight, complete your worksheet. Fill in your habit loop, your new routine, and any environment tweaks, and your why. This week, implement one if-then plan. Practice your disruption strategy when you encounter your trigger. If this happens, then I'll do this. Daily, notice your triggers. Build awareness by writing down when and where your habit appears. Ongoing, be patient with yourself. You're rewiring your brain. It takes consistency and time. Remember, process over perfection. Tiny daily actions add up. Commitment beats willpower every single time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to day 1 of 7 for neuroplasticity. Lessons designed from the book Neuro Habits by Peter Hollins. If you're interested in learning more about Grow As You Go, please download the free ebook, the Grow As You Go 3-Week Connection with Self ebook. The QR code will lead you straight to the website. And stay tuned for day 2 when we're going to talk about dopamine and why willpower is not enough. Thank you so much for watching. Love you all. God bless, and see you next time.